that's a good recipe for success when you have the number one defense. And on top of that, you have two great scorers. Welcome to Refuse to Lose. My name is Joe Jordan. I'm your host today. Today we're going to talk about the Boston Celtics as they have risen all the way up to the number one seed, but then they took an L yesterday. But still, we're going to still talk about them. Yesterday, they did not have Robert Williams III, Jayson Tatum, or Jaylen Brown, all right? And they still almost pulled out a win against now the fifth seed Toronto Raptors in overtime. So we're not going to talk too much about the game. We're going to talk more about just the team itself. But quickly about that game, the Celtics look good. You know, they had great defense. They held Toronto to 34% shooting in the second half, like 24% on 3-point percentage, right, in the second half. So they did a good job defensively. And Marcus Smart stepped up. He was very aggressive. I know he didn't shoot very great. He was 10 for 25. He had 28 points, but he was aggressive. He came out there with the I'm the number one guy mentality, which is good. But their issue last night was against the Raptors. First of all, Siakam having 40 points, closing the game out for Toronto, and the Celtics did not have a closer. They had multiple times when they had opportunities to close that game out, but they could not get a basket, and they were looking everywhere. All right, so that's why they lost that game. But about the Celtics are looking very great, not good, very great right now. Right, they have been the best team in the second half. Since 2022 calendar year, they have been the best team in the NBA. All right, just to go over some of their numbers because they emerged to the number one defense in the NBA. But it's about their numbers. So right now, the Celtics are fourth in rebounds, second in blocks, second in free throw percentage. Also, look at their defense. Right, they're first. They're the number one defensive rating. They're first in opponent field goal percentage, first in opponent 3-point percentage, first in opponent's assists per game, all right, and first in points allowed. So they are dominant on the defensive side of the ball, all right. The fact that they are number one in opponents' assists per game is showing that their opponents are not getting easy buckets. Their rotating skills are good, right? On the defensive side, I mean, they're communicating. They're like all five players on the court are actually playing hard on the defensive side of the ball. All right, so that's a good recipe for success when you have the number one defense, and on top of that, you have two great scorers. Number one, you got Jayson Tatum, who's averaging 27, 8, and 4 right now. You look at Jaylen Brown was averaging 23, 5, and 6. But for the month of March, the Celtics are 11-2. That's including the loss from last night against the Raptors. So while Tatum and Brown are on the floor, they are 11-1. Their only loss is to the Dallas Mavericks, 95-92, which was a game that went down to the stretch, right? Down to the wire. And the Mavericks have been the second best team in the West since the All-Star break. And the Mavericks are actually the second best defensive team in the league behind the Celtics. All right, they are an inch behind the Celtics. So in the month of March, Tatum is averaging 33 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He's shooting 53% from the field, 46% from three, 91% from the free throw line. 50, 40, 90 guy, and he just won Player of the Week on Monday. Last Monday, right? But the only concern about the Celtics, Robert Williams III, he has a tear in his meniscus, right? And they're actually talking about he will be out several weeks when the playoffs is within several weeks, all right? So that's the only thing you got to be worried about with the Celtics is how serious is his injury with Robert Williams III, all right? Because he's a key piece to this defense, y'all. I mean, I said before, he could potentially – not this year, but going forward, he could potentially be a defensive player of the year. That's how good he is on the defensive side. He set the tone. He plays hard. He puts effort. His recovery skills is good. Are good, right? He's good. He's good on the pick and roll, as far as switching on the guard, and he's just he's just a great defensive player. All right. So the Celtics are looking serious. We gotta take them seriously. All right. We can't take them lightly. It's crazy how early January they were the 11th seed. 2 months later, they were the number 1 seed last night. All right, so that just shows you how quickly your team can turn around. Right, great job to the head coach. All right, for having his players to buy in because they had a slow start. First year head coach. So they had to buy into a system, and they did buy into a system. They're looking great right now. So we're gonna be watching the Celtics, see how far they can reach in the playoffs. All right, because they should be making some noise. They got the ingredients. They got the number 1 defense. Plus, they got 2 elite scorers who can score once the game slows down. So that's what I have for you guys today, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.